I've started to put the concourse in. Stick around and I'll show you exactly what I've been up to. Well, good evening everyone and welcome back to Piccadilly. Now, just as a short recap, if you remember from the end of the last video, I started thinking about making this particular shape, which runs from one side of the station right across to the other side and is part of the main concourse with all the information and advertising. Now, I was quite horrified to see it was going to take just under 16 hours to print. Well, there it is. And yes, it did take 16 hours to print this off. And you might be thinking, well, John, that's an awful print. Look at all this mess going along here. Is that the value of the 3D printer? Well, yes and no. The reason it happened was because I took advantage of the stop-start or pause resume feature, if you want to call it that. So you can see we've got this pause feature in the middle, and the print has just started. So if I click across, and it's a turn wheel thing, it's not a touch screen, and then press pause and then press confirm, watch what happens. The head will just home its way back and stop. Okay, and at this point you can turn the printer off. So turning the printer back on now, you can see we've got the start of the print there, and you get this continue mark or message come up. So it was unexpectedly stopped last time. So if I press continue, I will have to press it again as if to recharge the temperature. I always set the temperature back up to 200. There you go, you see the printer just starts back off on its merry way all over again. Okay. There has been some slight ribbing, and there was one bit there, if you notice, it's actually shifted that way, probably by about 0.5 millimetre. It's not the end of the world, and I can soon file these bits down, so that's not a problem, but it does seem to go all the way around the outside and across the top as well. So I will just take a file to that, or a sander, whatever, and just get rid of all these little bits, so it's not really a problem. The other thing I've discovered is that this bit here is nowhere close to being strong enough, because this whole part is a little bit weighty, and that isn't. So I'm going to print this bit again on its own and then stick it to this bit, and I think that would solve the problem. And then from the next piece on, I can then just bulk this bit up a bit and make it a little bit thicker. All right. Now, one of the other things I need to do as well is that when I printed this off, I forgot about the roof trusses. In fact, I'll take you upstairs and I'll show you what I mean. There you go. You can see from that bit there, I've accidentally made it a little bit too long. So to do this, to put this piece in this section, I'd need to cut off a little bit here so it goes underneath. But what I have just realised is that that gap is probably more of a sensible size, and it will fit quite nicely in there. I might have to remove some of those braces, but it will go in there. And I think that will be absolutely fine, because that's about the position we're looking for, to be honest. Right, just to tell you where we are at the moment, I've managed to get the second one of these printed off. This one is waiting for this valance, which has got to go on now. That's what's printing over there at this moment in time. Yeah, you might be wondering what this cutout was for. That is so that we've got these trusses going across the length of the station, which the canopy sits on, and that is to go underneath the trusses so that the truss will effectively go across at that point and then leave a gap. All right, catch you soon. Now, although this is a little bit rough and ready at the moment, you might be thinking about the construction of this. Now, as you can see, I've mentioned we've got this valance going across the front of the construction at the moment, and you'll notice I've got this piece of acetate sandwiched in the middle. So that is then double-sided taped to the main structure, and then the valance is double-sided taped to the actual acetate at the same time. All right. Well, there's all the main parts printed off now. I'm still printing off some of these back sections, these bits. That was not printed particularly well. I'm going to do that one again. But I've got these two pieces to do. Obviously that one, like I said, I'm just going to do again, and that one needs another back piece. But we're getting there. But what I want to show you now is the front section. Now that does look a bit of a mess at the moment, and what I'm going to do, I've made these strips which will go over the bottom edge of that window. I'll tidy this mess up a bit at the top here as well. But you'll also notice on Piccadilly, on the Concourse, there are some numbers. Now I've cut some of these out already, but you'll see here I've basically just gone into a desktop publishing program like Publisher, for example, just typed all the numbers, brought them up to an appropriate size, put a white edge around them, made them blue. And you might think, well, why have I made the background black? Well, because I want to be able to see the edge to cut out. I can't make that black unless the background's black. So I want to be able to see the edge what I'm cutting round. Now I'll show you exactly how I went about doing that. Right, this isn't easy, as you can appreciate. I'll do the number 8. Now if the number has got a centre, I like the 0, the 9 and the 8s, I will cut that out first. And what I'm going to do is go in with the scalpel very gently and just press. Oh, I didn't tell you, I've stuck double-sided tape to the back of that so that when you stick them on, it is a bit easier to stick. So I'm just literally just going round the letter and literally just pressing the blade and doing it every, well, I say millimetre, but it's probably a bit less than that, to be honest. It's literally just work my way around. Now this is a laser cut print, and what tends to happen is the toner starts to come off. You'll see what I mean in a second. You might be able to see the edge of that already is starting to look a little bit frayed. That's because part of the toner is coming away. I can remove it like that. And then afterwards, I'll just do a little bit, but just sort of just cut it out with a pair of scissors. Now, I'm not going to sit here and you watch me cut it out, but you get the idea. Right, just before I show you everything that I've done so far, I just want to show you the first of these ticket barriers. And that's a penny just here, as you can see. So you can get a flavour of how big this actually is. I mean, obviously they're weeny. Person is only 12 millimeters tall, so this can only be a maximum of around about 7 high, 8 at the push, but you know, so I'll try and turn it around so you get a flavour of what it's like all the way around. Clearly the barriers don't work, just in case anybody asks. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the way that's turned out there. So there's a load more of those printing as we speak. Like so. Now there are 30 there, so they're going to take a long time to paint up. So please don't expect to see them all done in this video. They'll be done when they're ready. Well, this was the shot you had pretty much at the start of the video. Let's go down the other side. Hopefully now you can start to see some of the details. So we've got the main structure, which is pretty much there. I'll put some advertising on the boards here. Not quite sure what these bits are, but there's a few of them along here. We've got some information screens, obviously these numbers, and then these brackets. So I'm thinking that this was all covered up with something else at one point. A bit further along over the strut there. See platform 6, 7, 8. Obviously these struts are not here at this part of the station, but they are in my world. So and you can see we've got these extra doorways here now, which are not at this end. Okay. Now if I take you down, that gives you an idea of what the station looks like from inside. Spin you around. Hopefully you might start to see the one ticket barrier there. I haven't done any more than that yet. I'll take you down. I have to lift you over the truss. You get an idea of what that looks like. Excuse the wobbly camera work. Just walking along there now, coming up to another truss. You see, so over that one, and back down again, and you got platform 10. Now, haven't built this area here yet. Down here, there's a very large glass structure which comes around here yet, which I haven't got around to doing yet, but that will be done very, very shortly. So I'll just take you up from the other side now, and you can start to see the one single ticket barrier. There will be loads on there eventually, obviously, and you get a flavour of what it looks like from that side. Just trying to turn the camera at the same time as keeping it steady. It's not easy, so hopefully that gives you a flavour. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that. So what do I need to do next is to start thinking about that glass structure that goes over there like I pointed out, and obviously get all these ticket barriers along here, and then it's start thinking about this area down here. Now at some point, I think it's probably up here somewhere, there is an escalator going down to the metro system, I think it's called, the tram system anyway, that's what I'm trying to say. And then I think there's a whole load of benches and information signs to go up in there, so that will be an interesting thing to do. And then eventually I'll get around to sorting this out, which this doorway is going, as I said before, because this bit effectively would be the end of here, wouldn't it? You can hopefully recognise the shape there, although that's totally wrong. But there we go. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it there. Hope you've enjoyed that. And there'll be 2 more videos appearing on your screen right now, so please do take a look at those to the very end. Hopefully you'll find those very interesting and inspirational. And I'll catch you again here on Piccadilly very, very soon. Bye for now.